and welcome to a brand new episode of the Youth Have a Voice podcast. If you're new here, my name is Feolami and Joseph, and I am the host of this podcast. Today, I'm joined by a very special person. His name is Lotachukwu Ernest Eze. So Lotachukwu is a graduate of the Chemical Engineering from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, with a particular interest in biomass valorization and sustainable energy technologies. He looks forward to pursuing a PhD in chemical engineering to scientific knowledge as a teacher, researcher, and mentor. His passion lies in exploring how to produce biomass renewable energy, biomass fuel, and bio-based products. In addition to his engineering pursuits, Lotachukwu is deeply committed to education. He aspires to make quality education accessible to everyone across Africa, regardless of their background or place of birth. To address the challenges of enhanced learning in Africa, Lotachukwu is currently enrolled in the software engineering at Old School Africa. Here, he aims to acquire the skills necessary to develop educational materials and technologies that will make learning accessible and engaging. Lotachukwu is originally from Ebonyi State, and he resides in Enugu. Hi, Lotachukwu. How are you today?
All right, I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here and I'm excited. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks for honoring my invitation. So we originally
Thank
met
you.
through their world. Something else I didn't
Yeah,
mention is Lotachukwu is also a global youth ambassador of their world, which is an online community that has over 2,000 ambassadors each year. So that was how we originally met. And then I thought it would be nice to have you on board for my podcast.
yeah.
So is there
Exactly, that's
any,
true.
is there any other thing you'd like us to know about you?
I don't think so again. I think that's just the basic things they should know about me. Unless there's something else you want me to add to it.
No, it's fine. Okay, thank you very
Okay.
much. So I'm a bit curious. You started off with a background in engineering, and then you are now very passionate about education. For example, on LinkedIn, I see a lot of your
Mhm.
posts having to do with things related
Okay.
to education. So where did that start
Yeah.
from, and why exactly did you decide to pursue your passion for education despite having an
Education.
engineering degree?
Okay, I think it all started from childhood. Let me just pinpoint that. I think as a child, my struggle to write letter S and H, like I learned that for close to 2 years as a child. And the teacher, I don't know her. Even if I see her today, I might not even know her. So she was so consistent that when others are learning, I would just stay on the whiteboard or the blackboard rather back then, writing letter S and then the number H. Then secondly is while in school, the way they teach each time you see me in class is either I'm angry or I'm sad because of the teaching methods. So these are the two key things I think that brought about the drive to see that things are done better. The childhood experience where I said, okay, if someone can do this for me, that means I can as well do it for others as well. And then I just noticed that I don't know how it happens, but when they are not teaching well, when things are not going well in terms of the educational system, I'm just angry. Just naturally, I don't know why it is like that, but it kind of provokes me when I see some of those errors. It's just there. I don't know why it is that way. So that's just the basic thing.
Thank you very much, Lotachukwu. I think
Yeah,
something
thank
that
you.
you said that really struck me was that you were struggling to write letter S and H. And
Yes, and the number 8, yeah.
yes, and during childhood, I think that's a very important part, an integral part of
Very
one's
important time,
education.
yeah.
It's a
True.
very important part because that's when you start developing the building blocks that help you as you navigate through life. So I really
Mm,
appreciate that you said that that was kind of what made you passionate about wanting to pursue helping others in education.
exactly.
And now,
Yeah.
Sismo Tutors, would you like to tell us more about that? How exactly did it begin and what exactly is Sismo Tutors about?
Okay, so I think I should start from where it started from. Okay, so I noticed that when you discover your gift, you discover your area of strength, and then when you begin to pay more attention to it, I think a lot of things can actually come from it. So that's where it started from. I noticed I'm so good in explaining concepts, putting things in a way that people will understand it. I can read different materials, but when I come down to summarize them, I understand that it is just quite unique. And the way I explain things to people, like the concept of a particular thing that might be so complex. So when I noticed that this is a gift, actually, ability to not only to come down to teach, but to explain it in a way that people will understand. So in 2017, I had a student, I think it was in JSS2, that junior secondary school. two, yeah. So I began with him. That was a private lesson we started with. So that was how Sismo came to be with that very child. Then over time, people kept referring me, to their friends, parents saw the need for them to actually have a personal coach for their kids, because I realized that people might be struggling because of the pace they learn in class. They try to carry everybody along at the same pace, but that one-on-one coaching allows the child or the student to learn at their own pace. So that was where Sismo started from, the ability to explain concepts. And then the child I started with back then to teach mathematics just one-on-one. And from there, we had other persons we were teaching. And from there, the idea to actually have a community of tutors that can actually take people one-on-one on sciences, maths, technology, and the rest of them. So Sismo is all about a personalized tutoring platform for people who have different teachers, and we have students where we can match parents with tutors and students with tutors as well. So currently we're working on expanding, not just on academic subject. We want to bring in other things like art, music, anything that someone can do in terms of the skill. If you are skilled in, let's say, playing keyboard, you are skilled in graphic designing, video editing, you can sign up as a teacher with us, and then students will get to hire you for one-on-one coaching.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing, Lotachukwu. So is Sismo for more
All
like
right, thank you.
teenagers, or is it for younger people? What's the age range for Sismo?
I would say from nine to nine upwards, like from 9 years upwards, because personally I've not actually handled kids less than 9 to 10 years. I think it requires special grace for you to do that, and I've not tried that before. So from 9, 10, I think I've taught people 9 years old, 10 years old up. So of recent, I tried to teach a child of 5 years, but I discovered that it's not something I can do. So it's just from 9 upwards, yeah. So however, we'll have other teachers that can take kids, but for me, as long as I'm concerned, I've not tried that. I'm not even trying to do that. All right, unless for my other tutors that might actually be good in early, what do you call it? That's
Early years.
early years, right? Yeah, exactly. So, but for me in particular, I've not tried that.
Okay, thanks for sharing.
Mm, all
So
right, thank you.
you kind of have a background in engineering. That's what you studied in university. How do you think that has
Yeah,
helped you with your passion for education and to help?
okay. Studying engineering is very key. I think that's one of the reasons why we get to do things differently, because of the drill. I would say they drilled us, engineering is not for the weak. So the training, the engineering has actually helped so much that you don't just give up easily. Whatever you give your heart to, you achieve it, because you've stayed hours of reading. And in terms of mathematics, sciences, we've seen different, I'll call it acrobatics. You've seen different kinds of equation and the rest of them. So that's foundation alone has really helped. Maybe I would say it gives me an edge over those that just went to school to study, okay, mathematics education or physics education, because I went around, covering all aspects of sciences and engineering. I think I'm happy I did that, and I didn't just go straight to study maybe mathematics education or science education per se, but going into the engineering to explore all those areas have actually helped in the whole mandate and vision.
Okay. So do you still
Mm.
intend on pursuing a career in engineering, or do you plan on just staying with education? What's your plan for your engineering degree?
Okay, for my plan, I'll still have to further. Like I said, I'm interested in biomass conversion, that's renewable energy. So I still have to further in my engineering. So for me, I see it in two ways. Though I was confused before now, I must say, at some point I was like, bro, why not go into education full time? Do your MSc, maybe educational technology or the rest of them, and then leave engineering. But in the second time, I understood something that we have two things. You have your career goals, and your life goals. And that's the way I had to strike the balance. Now, in terms of the education, I know that this is something I've been born to do. That's something I know. That's my purpose as long as I'm concerned. But you need money to fund your whatever thing you are passionate about. So you can't just leave the aspect that can actually bring in something to help you pursue that which you've been called to do. So I see like education is more like my assignment, and the chemical engineer is my career that will help me fulfill the assignment. So that's how I'm seeing it. So the only way I can do it is just to take more training on education. Like I finished a course with School Inc. training for 3 months, and these are the kind of things I'll be doing instead of just going straight up to either do an MS in education. Some of those trainings I can attend But when it comes to my engineering, I can just go on and pursue a PhD in chemical engineering, you know.
Okay, thank you for sharing. I think I understand what you mean when you say that sometimes you need to have a stable source of income to pursue your
Exactly.
passion and what you've been called for. Because as someone who has maybe like a non-profit or a community, its funding can be difficult. So I completely understand
Very
what you
difficult,
mean
you know.
by that. It can be very
Exactly.
difficult. So I completely relate to
Exactly.
that when you say that.
Exactly.
Okay, so today's theme for today's podcast episode is more like how people can use their privilege to help others. So, how do you think that Sismo tutors can actually help people to use the privilege they have to help other people from underprivileged communities and marginalized communities?
Exactly. Exactly. How can we help? Okay, basically, there's something I had in mind before now. I I was returning from class one of the days. I went to teach a child. So a question dropped in my heart. It said, Lotachukwu, what is your plan for kids that your parents cannot pay you? They cannot afford a private tutor. They can't pay their school fees, talk more of hiring a private tutor. What's your plan for these kids? So one thing that I believe that we can do is to have let's say you are a graduate or maybe you are good in anything at all, both mathematics, academic subject and non-academic subject, or any skill at all. One key thing that can be done is to go into these communities, even if it's 2 hours a day or twice a week. We can actually have classes with these kids, just to help them understand some basic things, maybe in mathematics, in sciences, and skill training as well. And that's one of the reasons why I volunteer with Young Leaders Foundation to see how best we can actually bring this thing in with the little we have. It mustn't be money. The knowledge you have can be transferred. We can motivate other persons or other kids to know that indeed there's a place for them. And I think that one-on-one mentorship and coaching is one key thing that Sismo is working towards, to see that even children that their parents can actually do these things for them have the same privilege as those that their parents can actually afford some of those.
Okay, so what advice would you give to young people who also want to use their privilege to help other people?
Okay, I think there are two key things I would like to say. They will always tell you start with what you have. Yeah, start with what you have. Yeah. So one key thing I believe, if you want to create a change, I think the key thing to do is to first of all get the necessary things you need for yourself as first. Like, so I think the first key thing to doing as much as you want to render help is that you ensure that for your own self, you've actually got some things, or to some point. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So one key thing I would like to tell any young person out there that want to create a change or want to do something, I think the first key thing, it begins with you. Like, it begins with you. And once you get that done, then you can now spread the love across. Why I'm saying this, so that you don't just start and then with time you stop because you don't have you've not prepared very well. Let me use that word, preparation. So I think the key thing to do is to prepare first. After the preparation, that's the planning stage and the preparation stage, then one can launch out to get to do some of those things that we have in mind. And I said the reason is because you don't want to start something that you do for some time and then you're no longer there because people are watching. So that's one key thing I can actually say for anybody that wants to help out with any little thing they can. And I think volunteering is another key thing to do as well. Attach yourself to people that are already doing something in that line. If you don't have what it takes at the moment, you can attach yourself to people, giving your time. Even if the time is a very great resource you can actually put in out there, just attach yourself to somewhere, or you can actually impact lives, add to the community or the organization. So that's the key thing I can point out in that area. Yeah.
Yes, I completely agree. If you are not sure of starting something at first, I would definitely advise, as you've said, to volunteer because even before I started the
Yeah.
I work
Yeah.
on, I volunteered with some companies, and I think it also gives you a brighter understanding of how things are run. So you don't have to
Mhm.
jump in. You first of all take a step back to see how processes are done before you decide to start
Mhm.
your own. So it gives you a better understanding. I think when you've been in the place of serving, you now know how to now create your own things based on your own experience, what you liked, what you did not like. So yeah, I completely agree. And starting with what you have,
Exactly.
I think a lot of people end up thinking that because they don't have much, they don't know
Mm.
how to start. But you wouldn't want to invest so much into something something and then you end up realizing that that wasn't for you. So start small and can now expand over time. So yeah, I
Over
completely
time.
agree with what you have said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the final question I have for you, Lotachukwu, is how can people support Sismo Tutors? Is there an app? How can people support your vision, your project? Is there an app? What are the future goals you have also for Sismo Tutors? And is there any other thing we can look forward to hearing from you soon?
Can I take it bit by bit?
Yes, of
So
course.
I think the first thing you said, how can people support?
The
So
Sismo
let's go again. You
Tutors.
said how they can support Sismo, right? Okay, so the support can come in two ways. It can come in terms of time, and it can come in terms of, let's say, money. So these are two key things: the time, the money, and I think can we put a third one? Okay, let's say the two of them. So for people that are willing to teach others, people that are passionate about impacting knowledge, people that are passionate about seeing others out there that they don't have much with them, or maybe the goal is that no matter the location, no matter where a child is born, the background shouldn't actually determine destiny. That's one key thing. So anybody out there, if you have the time, you can dedicate your time to help in mentorship, in helping these young people out there that their parents can't even pay their school fees. Talk more of giving them that quality education that they deserve. So the time can come, and then the resources in terms of the support and the funding, because for you to go teach there, maybe go to different locations, you need money actually to do that, or to embark on that project, because you don't teach someone that is hungry. You have to give something so they can listen while learning. So it should come in two ways. While you give them the resources, you also give them knowledge. So you feed them both in knowledge and then in flesh as well. You feed the carnal the carnal body, and they also feed the mind as well. So I think in terms of the resources, and then people that are willing to volunteer with the organization. Then you also asked a second question. I think there were three. You said what they can do to support. There's something else you asked as well. I didn't get that line.
Okay, so the second question I asked, is there like an app or something that Sismo Tutor has? How can people learn more about Sismo Tutors actually?
Okay, currently we are working on that. Like currently, the work is ongoing. Like we're looking at having a web app, because aside the one-on-one coaching, we're looking at having resources as well for teachers and for students. For example, we want to create lesson plans across different subjects for teachers, because most of them, because of the pay and the time, some teachers can teach up to 3 subjects. Like for a particular school, you have a teacher teaching maths, physics, and chemistry. You don't expect that teacher to be effective covering those courses or subjects, I mean to say. So we're looking at helping them create lesson plans that will help them in teaching, and then the students' resources as well, where students can get things that I call flashcards, to help them understand difficult concepts. And they will have videos as well. So these are the areas I'm looking at aside the one-on-one coaching. You also have these materials for them, so that they can just go there, check out the materials, study them. Teachers as well can have resources that will make the work easier for them. So this one key thing I'm working from now, this month of July, we're working on that seriously, to see if it will be possible to create a web app that will house all these resources, be able as well to have the teachers as well. So we can actually match teachers and students with also parents as well. So that's the key thing we're working around now. So it calls for people that know they can teach, people that can help out in creating the materials, because that's one thing I've tried doing alone, but I noticed that it's not something I can do alone. Creating those materials, doing the videos. I cannot write the script and as well edit the videos. I even had to go into video editing, because I will write the script, I will as well edit the videos. But when we have more people queuing into this vision of creating these materials and making things easier for students, that will help how do I provide quality education for our people here in Africa, especially where there's no motivation for the teachers. You don't expect a teacher, how much are you paying the teacher that the woman or he or she will kill him or herself for you, for you to understand. So it's something that will help. Aside what the teachers are doing in class, we need people that will help us get these materials ready. So that's one key thing we're working on, the web app that will house these resources, and then get people that will make these things possible. So that's just the key thing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, so my final question, the final question I mentioned, is there any other projects you're working on that you'd like us to know about, apart from Sismo Tutors, your education, apart from that, is there any other project you'd like us to know about?
Oh, no, no projects for now. Aside the fact that we're trying to work on research project on renewable energy, conversion of biomass into biofuels. Example, there's a project worked on the last time. That's for my undergraduate plant design project where we used corn as a feedstock to produce bioethanol. So now I'm just looking at working more on using, instead of using the corn kernel, I mean the corn seed. I don't know if I understand what I'm saying. That's engineering now. So instead of using the corn seed itself, like we're using the back of the corn, we call it the corn stover, like the back. After you must have removed the back of the corn, trying to use that to get biofuels, something like bioethanol. So that's one key thing I'm looking at. I'm going into as well as a chemical engineer.
Okay, thank you so much, Lotachukwu. It's been an honor listening to you today. You're doing such a cool work, and I can't wait to see how far your work, your projects are going to go. So I will be leaving Lotachukwu's contact details in our bio, so you can connect with him anytime you want to.
All right.
And then I'll also be leaving the link for Sismo Tutors, how you can find out more about it, their LinkedIn page. So if you want to reach out to Lotachukwu directly, you can after today's episode. So any final words before we round up today?
Okay, I think my final one is to apologize. If you check the setting, this is my room in school. So I just came into photo today. That's my board. You can see that the board I used back then, So I came into my territory today and I'm happy with my environment once again. That's why the network is bad, because I'm here. So my final words are this: in any way you can create a change anywhere you are. Just those things that annoy you, some of those things you look at and then you are angry about them. For example, for me, it was the educational system. You are in class, lecturers come in and you just tell stories and leave. So that thing that annoys you means it's a call for you to create a change in that very aspect. So check out for things you are angry about, things you talk about, and when you talk about them, you are angry and your face is like my own now when you are talking about them because you're not happy. So it's something that you are called to do, something you are called to create a change in that line. So don't just be angry about it, work towards that, and I believe we all will make the world a better place.
Yes. I think another lesson we can learn from this, that it doesn't matter what environment you're in, you can still make a change regardless of wherever you are, no matter what situation you find yourself or how inconvenienced you at that point in time.
Exactly. That's all the key thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining on the show. So make sure you comment and subscribe, share with your family members and friends, and I will see you in our next episode. Goodbye.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.